Hey everybody, Joshua here. So I think it's time for one more video. I've done 3 already. So this one, I'm sure that anybody who's in a relationship, particularly if you're married, you will understand exactly where this comes from. So when you have your day off or you come home, honey, can you do this? Honey, can you do that? And we have this joke about, well, it's your honeydew list. So I said, well, honeydew would actually be really fun. And then I thought to myself, well, it's not really something like, why would my wife need to have an app for me? But what if my wife, who's an accountant, for example, well, actually, I can't use her as an example, conflict of interest. What if somebody down the road needed help? Like, what if there was somebody down the road who couldn't get out of their house and needed groceries, right? Or what if somebody needed help replacing a faucet, or a couple of boards painted, or their lawn mowed, or they needed something done, they needed something help with something, right? Maybe they want to pay cash. Maybe somebody's like, you know what, I've got, too many eggs, but I need my deck painted, and I've got like 7 or 8 dozen eggs. Would anybody come in and help me restain my deck for like an hour on a Saturday afternoon, and I'll pay you in eggs? Like, barter and trade and social networking at a very rudimentary community level. It happens all the time. What if there was a more efficient way where somebody could be like, hey, I need this done. Here's what I'm offering. Yeah, hey, I wouldn't mind that. Let me know. I'll help you. So I thought to myself, what if there was a way that we could better organize that, instead of having a dozen different community groups all over the internet? What if there was one central place that was specifically designed for people to offer work? And then I thought to myself, it's like one of those games where you walk into the guild. You have all the different guilds that offer the different quests, and they all have different difficulty levels and different reward systems, and people do barter and trade. What if we actually put something together that facilitated people to do that? And that's where HoneyDo was born, right? Maybe you can sign up under the volunteer section, right? Like, I used to go and, pick up my grandmother's prescription for her. If I had a neighbor that said, hey, could you go pick up my prescription? Not a problem. If I had a neighbor that said, my car broke down, Can you, would you mind picking up my groceries for me? Sure. Send me a list. I'll go pick up your groceries. You know, it's like, hey, I need my lawn mowed. Anybody wanna mow a lawn at this location? And here's how much I'm offering. Sure. Let's get together. Let's have the conversation. So HoneyDo is a social networking platform designed for people to simply say, hey, we need this done. Here's what we're offering. Is there anybody out there who would like to help us? Like, I have a bunch of work. Like, I can look out here and I've got trees that I got small trees that I would like to have cut down. I've got large trees that are all over there, a bunch over here, a bunch down there, a bunch over there, that I would love to have them all cut down. Put it in, be like, here's the scope of work. You guys can have all the lumber. Just leave me with the brush. I'll do whatever with it. I need the lumber. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we can put in there for HoneyDo. I have a friend. He's building a bigger chicken coop. He wanted only a little bit of small amount of chickens. He's building a bigger chicken coop, and he's looking at his flock getting bigger, and he's like, I said, what are you going to do with the eggs? And he's like, never thought of that. I'm going to have so many more eggs, I'm not going to know what to do with them. Well, we could put them up on HoneyDo. Be like, I've got eggs. You know, I mean, yeah, there's things like Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. But let's be honest. When you rely on major platforms to do stuff, it becomes difficult to deal with, because when you have issues with fraud and scams on large platforms like Facebook, you can't deal with it as easy. We aim to be able to make it simple. We aim to be able to say, hey, you know, you need something done. We'll help find you to get somebody to do it. You know, we'll make it easy for you to find someone to do it. We'll help you get in contact with them. And if something goes wrong, we will help you make sure that, you know, we'll make sure that that person gets, you know, if they're going to be mean to you, we're not going to tolerate it. If they're cheating people, you know, we're not going to simply say, oh, well, this person's still on the platform, they're just changing their name. Nope. They'll be gone. There's a lot of finite details to work out on HoneyDo. It is there. It's probably one of the apps where we're not going to put as much effort onto it right away, because there is a huge amount of competition in that space already, especially from things like, Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace. But like I said, Facebook Marketplace, why are you giving all of your information to Mark Zuckerberg? You know, Kijiji, it's owned by eBay. I believe it's owned by eBay, at least it was. I'll have to check and see who still owns it. But the idea is bringing back the community connection. So HoneyDo was originally like, hey, I've got stuff that I want to be done, but it can be a marketplace. It can be a place where you can network and find people to help work on jobs. You can even say, hey, I have a job available. I'm going here and I'm doing this, and I need like 5 people. Not a problem. Check HoneyDo. See what's there. It would be relatively easy for us to do some integrations to expand. That's always possible. Oh, I'm gonna get stung. I'm gonna get oh. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That was a big bugger. Wow. That guy was huge. So anyway, that's kind of what we have coming up. If you really want to get into this, and there hasn't been, like I said, there hasn't been as much development on HoneyDo as of yet. So as we proceed with more development, we'll get more stuff built together. I don't have as much details worked out, which is why this video is actually much shorter. Just because it is still in the very, very, very early stages of development. But as it kind of gets, the idea behind it gets more fleshed out, and what we want it to be able to do, that's when I'll be able to publish another update. Probably won't be a Substack on that for a while. I'll get the basics of the app, the web app put together, but as far as what's going on with it, it's probably going to be a couple of months. All right? So like I said, you want to learn more, like and subscribe. You want to figure out how to support us or do some investing, check out our Substack. And I'm Joshua for Unimatrix Zero. Peace out.